So, okay, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, we give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Wakwa Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the mighty Akim, Wa'akwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this found captivity, as well as the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kavakab coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on something I finally found. I've been looking for this shit for the longest time. There was some conversations I had, and I had referenced it, but they said, "Oh, where's the proof? Where's the proof?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I couldn't find it. X, Y, and Z." But now I found it. I finally found it. All right. Now the thing with this is, and this was in 2021, was that a man he had sent he had sent saliva from his pet lizard to, what is it, 23andMe, and he got back
I
results.
wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe. And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
So you saw that. It does not get any clearer than that. How the how the fuck are people going to say that this is a reliable source of information? This is ridiculous. Like, oh my god. And okay, so basically, they said that they sent saliva of their pet lizard to 23andMe, and instead of 23andMe saying, "Hey, you know what? This DNA looks animalistic, so maybe it isn't a fucking human." They said, "Oh no, this is their history, this is their background, this is all their stuff." They got confused by the lizard's thing. They think that a lizard, not a mammal by the way, a reptile, has DNA that is akin to a human, and they sent genuine information. They sent actual information to the thing. Really, really now. Like, and then all that bullshit of people saying, "Oh, where's your DNA test? Prove that you're an Israelite." So now, are you telling me there, this dude's lizard is a fucking Israelite? Is that what we're saying? Are you saying that? You guys are, obviously not you guys, but the people who think this type of way, you guys are stupid as shit, and it's just it's so baffling to me that people actually genuinely think. Oh my god, this is so funny. This is so funny, Slakia. Um, I mean, hold on, bear with me. Um, the 23 thing, the DNA stuff. With the DNA stuff, they showed that, or well, it's flawed. And the funny thing is that the Edomite showed that this stuff was flawed, right? So all this crap about DNA, because, and I've been saying this a while ago, that DNA is flawed. We cannot rely on it to determine stuff and heritage and all that stuff. Okay. Um, um, Um. Anyway, let's get to these precepts. Lucky, I have to do a bunch of editing for this since I fucked up. Psalm 83, verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Basically, they want to get rid of our heritage, get rid of who we are. All right, so that's why, all of our original names. I actually did a video on that. Not, I think, yeah, I don't remember how long ago, but I did a video on that where um, they showed a bunch of names. What was it? It was named slaves that were actually like, I think, Paleo Hebrew, or I forgot what it was, but basically it looked like names that they had for Israelites and stuff like that. All right, where that they did all that changing. Where it was also another thing with the so-called Native Americans, where what they did was they put them in re-education, school, boarding schools, all this stuff like that, where they would beat the hell out of the kids, and basically say that if you spoke in your native language, if you didn't call yourself by the new Edomite names that we give you, you're gonna get beat, you're gonna get punched, you get all this stuff happen, and then they would also get the girls would get married off to men, the freaking uh kids would get adopted by uh Edomite families and stuff like that, so that they would re-educate them and all this stuff, and it's like assimilate them into their society and stuff like that. That's basically how things worked. All right, so yeah, that was what was going on. All right, now, um, and by the way, I just want to say, because oh, never mind. Let's continue on. Romans 8, verse 16, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahawah. Basically, the thing here where the Spirit is the one that's determining, are we Israelites or are we not Israelites? All right. We also get this in John, First John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of Yahawah, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So the thing is that we have to try the spirits. We can't just say, okay, well, this person looks like an Edomite, so I'm not going to believe. I'm going to stay away from them. Or this person looks like a Israelite, so I'm going to. They're my brother and all this stuff like that. Where the thing is, the funny thing about that is how there can be. Well, Tracy Ellis Ross. Okay, I keep on going back to her and Blake Griffin and Steph Curry and all that stuff. But Tracy Ellis Ross is a perfect example, and Tiffany Haddish as well. Um, Tiffany Haddish and Tracy Ellis Ross, they're perfect examples of actual Edomites. They're Edomite, they're Edomites, specific Edomites. Definitely go check out who their father is, and they are not actual Israelites. But everyone just acknowledges, and not everyone just views them as Israelites, even though they aren't. All right, and then on the flip side of that is the other side of that is what's it called? Not Tracy Ellis Ross. It was Blake Griffin and Steph Curry. They look light. People do recognize them as Jakes, but the fact of the matter is that they are an example of, well, they can look like Edomites, but they're not actual Edomites. They're actually Israelites. All right. So that's an example of not letting someone's physical features, and that's the thing. That's a big thing where um, Jake and people in general, they keep on saying that are we are we are discriminating based off of skin color and appearance, when that's not the case. We do not discriminate by skin color, or it's, if you are an Israelite, then you are an Israelite based off your bloodline. Does your bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Up, that is who you are. That's what makes you an Israelite. It's not based off of your appearance, right? So as a result of that, that's yes, again, the determining factor, our, not our, what's it called? Not our appearance. Okay, so continuing on, Deuteronomy 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power to keep his commandments and the statutes which he commanded thee this day. Which he commanded thee. Basically, the thing here is the curses are also indicators and proof of let's actually read it. Verse 26, verse 46, Lakia, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Basically, for a sign and for a wonder. They are what indicate if we are Israelites or not. All right. The curses, the fact that us Israelites, we went through all that stuff. That is what determines that we are Israelites, um, not 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 our appearance. Okay, and again, as I said before, you have so many people that are so fixated, so stuck on appearance, saying, "Oh, your black skin color, this, that, and third, whatever." That God doesn't deal with skin color X, Y, and Z. Well, you're damn right. The Lord doesn't deal with skin color, because and we never well, I guess some Israelites do say that, and they're wrong, but generally, a lot of us brothers, we say that it's not based off of your skin color; it's based off of your father, the seed of your father, as it reference to Numbers 1 verse 18. All right, that's what makes you an Israelite. Let's actually get that, and then I'll end it off there. Numbers chapter 1 verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names by from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. Basically, the thing here is the same way that Tiffany Haddish's father is not an Israelite, he's an Edomite. All right, that's what makes Tiffany Haddish. Let me actually show you so I can go. Tiffany. Crazy how this shit is in there. So look at how dark skinned she is. All right, now let's add one thing. Father. Where the fuck did this dude come from? Okay, there. Okay, I'm not gonna say it, but you can see it. All right. Never mind. Now I see why she's darker. But I think a better example is Tracy Ellis Ross. You can see some of my history. That freaking yeah. Anyway, you see, this is a better example of that. All right, where you're you are determined by what you are, not based off your appearance, but based off of your bloodline. And as a result of that, again, as I said before, going back to the main thing, this whole DNA crap that people keep on trying to say, oh, this is indicate this is you go show us your DNA to show you your 22andMe, show us your ancestry.com, X, Y, and Z. No, that's not how it works. All right, and even the Lord said, and even with YAHAWASHI, it's it's like an example. Okay, like I'll end it off like this. Let's say someone looks like a complete Edomite. Okay, Chinese person. I'll say Chinese person because I hate saying Edomite, but This also applies to Edomite looking people as well. But let's just say a so-called Chinese man. They look like a so-called Chinese person, like fucking whatever. They were born in China. They know Chinese and all this stuff. All right. If they if they hear this word, all right, if they hear this truth, and they start saying like, you know what, I'm gonna go along with it. I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna follow up to what Yahawadah said. Then and they genuinely believe, they actually believe, and that's when it's like, okay, you know what, that is more than likely an Israelite, and it's not a matter of, oh well, their father looks like a Chinese person, their mother looks like a Chinese woman, the kid looks like a Chinese person, but it's a matter of, oh well, the spirit stayed on them as time went on, because again, as I always say for example, if I lived in China 1,000 years ago, and I got with a Chinese woman. I had a son. That son got with another a completely different Chinese woman. Then he had a kid, and then it kept so on and so forth. We keep on having sons, and then that son, that kid, that descendant is going to look like a Chinese person because the whole genetics and crap like that, where you just slowly the what's it called? I'm trying to say. I think it's genetics slowly kind of like mix in because like a half looking Chinese kid with a half looking a kid that looks like Chinese and black mix, and then he gets with a full Chinese woman, for example. Then that's when it's like, okay, well, he's gonna keep on looking. Okay, half, quarter, eighth, 16th, 32, 164, 1/64, and all that stuff, and keep on going with that, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, the the dominant features are going to continue to just get softer and softer to the point where it's like, okay, well, you can barely see the bloodline where he's from, the father's, the ancestral traits from it. All right, as time goes on. So that's basically what it was. All right. So with that, praise, this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Yahawashi, Yahawadah, Hashem, Kwakwadah, double honors to the elders and apostles, the great Wilson of our Lord, Shalom.